Hi, my name is Oliver, and in this tutorial I want to show you how to extend the processing and analytics capabilities of Capacitor using Python. In previous tutorials we already created alerts and thereby created tick scripts that run within Capacitor and that allowed us to process data in real time and generate events out of that processing. Now, while this is suitable for a lot of applications, in some applications you may want to have more sophisticated processing capabilities beyond just creating alerts. So you may want to, for example, you have trained offline a machine learning classifier, and now you want to integrate that into your into Capacitor to online classify data that has been written to the influx database. And therefore Capacitor has a concept which is called UDF. Now UDF stands for user-defined function. And this is basically a way to integrate functions that are written in an external language and integrate them into Capacitor. So you may have noticed that in the configuration section of the TICKpy user interface, Capacitor has an additional entry called PyScript. Now, with this entry, you can basically download and upload a Python script that is supposed to be then integrated into Capacitor. Now, if we look at the Python script, we will see that this is more than just a function. Although it's called user-defined function, there's basically what you do with the Python script here is creating an agent that has a state and that provides certain attributes and methods. And I won't go into detail about all of the aspects of the UDF agent, but it's basically has certain interfaces to provide information that is required from Capacitor. So there's a function called info, there's a function called init, snapshot, and so on and so forth. And these functions are required because they are part of the UDF interface that is required for Capacitor in order to communicate properly with this Python script. As I said, it's an UDF agent, so the agent has certain methods and attributes, but it also has a state. So, and in this tutorial I want to focus on this function because this is basically the update function of that state. So it works like this: the agent instance, when Capacitor starts, the agent instance is activated, and whenever data is sent to the agent, there is an update function which then changes the state of the agent and provides the new result of the calculation. So in our case here, the update function does a simple moving average over a specified window of data. Now, in order to integrate such a script into Capacitor, there are three basic steps that you need to take. First of all, you need to provide a Python script. That is a script, as we have seen just a second ago, which provides this definition of the UDF agent. The second step is we need to modify the configuration in order to tell Capacitor that there is a new UDF agent that is available and can be integrated into Capacitor. And the third step is basically we have to go to chronograph in order to define, using a tick script, where the UDF agent is applied to what kind of data it is applied to, and what it should do with that. So we will go through all of the steps. The first step we have just seen, I've just shown you the Python script. And now in the second step, I want to briefly look at the configuration. Because in the TICKpy container, everything is already prepared. We will just go through it so you can see where you could modify things. But in general, everything is already prepared. So you could even modify the Python script and leave everything else as is, and you would have the new function that you just specified. Anyway, this is the configuration file of capacitor. Now, capacitor works in a similar way, the configuration file looks similar to what we have seen in Telegraph. So there are basic plugins which define endpoints and configurations. And in this case, for example, we see that capacitor is already configured for our influx database. And you could also have other different endpoints. However, what is most important is over here. Here we have the section UDF. And these are, as I said, the user-defined functions. And there are already examples prepared. One example is prepared for Go, and another example is prepared for Python. However, in the TICKpy container on default, there is already a Python function available that you could as we've seen, is integrated into capacitor. And here, that is basically all the information we need to provide. So there's only the program, so it uses Python 2. There are arguments which show where the Python script is located at. And once we upload a new Python script, it will automatically being written to this location. And then we also have to set the UDF Python environment here. And that's basically it. So it's very, very simple. So not much that we have to do here. So let's close that again. Now, since everything is configured for capacitor already has the or integrates the UDF agent that is written in Python. So the next step we want to do is we want to go to chronograph. Now in chronograph, what we have to do is basically we have to go to alerts, because here is that's the section where we can define tick scripts, and these are required for the integration of an UDF agent. So as we can see, there is already a tick script prepared that is called moving average. Now let us look at the script. So this is basically how a tick script looks like, and without going into too much details about tick scripts, it basically works that like this. There is a stream coming from some database and some fields, which is in our case the usage user again. So it's the CPU usage, and that is provided as value. And now this data is then processed by the PyAVG script, and with certain fields and certain size. So this is basically how the parameters are set for the script or for the agent, and it is provided as MOV AVG, and yeah, then sent basically as output to the influx database. So, and as we can see, it's already enabled. So let us look at the Data Explorer in this case. And if we now go to chronograph, then we can see PyScripts. So this is basically where our script publishes the result. So if we then go to, say, CPU total and the fields moving average, voila, we can see the results of our calculation in each step. And as you will see, this is done online. It will update every 15 seconds, right? So we just have seen here's a new data point. Good, so that's basically it. A very brief overview how to integrate Python scripts. And as it is Python, you can also have more sophisticated functions being integrated, such as, you know, functions coming from NumPy, SciPy, sklearn, or pandas to really do some serious processing or analytics to the data in real time. So that's basically it. Thanks, and hope to see you in the next tutorials.